tuned into the Barry Sable Show with friends. Thankful you chose to join us on this Sunday morning. Oh, my God. Again, you can view us live on YouTube. And by the way, we are on Saturday night from 8 to 9 as well. Please tune in. Sitting in studio with me, political activist Steve Pac-Man Paccaraduni. Pac-Man, my friend, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Barry. Listen, you are not catching me off guard this week. No way. I am ready. I have been up since 4 a.m. ready for everything that you're going to hit me with today. And we got an action-packed show today, man. I am pumped and ready to go.
Me too. Steve, we are busy right out of the chute. On the line, our special and honored guest this morning campaigned harder and more diligently than anyone we have seen in Pennsylvania in a very long time. He has half-back broad shoulders, a Colgate smile, and a love for the people of our state. He has taken his energetic skills and resides in Washington most of his time. And I know with all he has to do, a year's supply of Grecian formula is probably not adequate enough to cover all of his new grays. He is currently the reigning senator from the Keystone State, handsome and witty, proud to call my friend, the senator from Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick. Senator, good morning. You are live on the air with Uncle Barry.
Hey, Barry. Hey, Barry. Thanks so much, man. With that intro, I'm going to come on a lot more often. That's great. Good to be with you.
Listen, thank you so much. So I kidded you before the show started, and I'm going to continue. I thought that you were the superstar in that family. This lady, Dina Powell McCormick, attractive, smart, witty. I saw you guys on Hannity the other night. What a special couple. She is special. And I love the book that you've printed and have being distributed. Why don't you tell us 2 seconds about that?
Oh, thanks, Barry. Well, my wife is Dina Powell McCormick, and she's an immigrant to our family. She was born in Cairo in Egypt and came at the age of 5 and has lived the American dream. She worked as a waitress in Austin, Texas, went to University of Texas, and a senator named K. Billy Hutchison saw her and asked her to come to Washington to be an intern. And Dina's had an incredible career working for President Bush, working for President Trump as the Deputy National Security Advisor, and a great business career. And, you know, her story and my story are both influenced by mentors. A couple key people in our lives made all the difference. And during COVID, when our kids, we have 6 daughters, were locked up and, weren't able to be with their coaches and teachers, we started to talk about what they were missing. And we started to talk to some other people, successful people, about mentors in their lives. And that led us to write a book a couple years ago called Who Believed in You?
Yes.
You can find it at whobelievedyou.com. And it's not about the famous people. We interview a bunch of famous people. It's not about them, Barry. It's about the people you've never heard of that changed the lives of these people, whether it's Sarah Huckabee Sanders or whether it's Joe Dunford, fighting Joe Dunford, Marine Corps general. Mm-hmm. These people were influenced by mentors in their lives, and that's what the book's about.
Terrific. Listen, you know me. I like to pull back the curtain. You are now in Washington, thank the Lord, representing Pennsylvania. Why don't you give us a little bit of an update since you've been there? What's actually happening? Are you part of any committees? What are you actually doing? I could tell you from my standpoint of view, anything that's going on the left today, I don't know how you guys negotiate. I don't know if you have lunch together. I don't know if you talk to each other, but it's like an impossible time in America. What are you actually doing to try and bring peace of mind to the American people and the state of Pennsylvania?
Yeah, what a crazy time it is, Barry. You know, to be the senator from Pennsylvania is such a privilege, such an honor. You know, there's only been about 1,000 elected senators in American history. I'm the 54th elected senator from Pennsylvania, and I'm the 9th senator in history from West Point. So, I feel like a real privilege to do it. But to be the senator from Pennsylvania at this moment, there's so much change happening, Barry, that it's just sort of unbelievable. And President Trump has hit the ground running with, the first 100 days, an incredible amount of activity executive orders to open up our energy sector, close the border, the number of illegal border crossings down 95%.
Yep.
You and I first met one another, Barry, on the border. We did a border trip together. We saw how wide open it is. What's happened with that is just absolutely incredible. And we've already started to take action. We passed in the Senate the Lake and Riley bill, which will basically allow us to prosecute these illegal felons that have conducted felonies in the United States. I introduced my first bill, which is a joint task force to stop the flow of fentanyl. I campaigned on that. So it's just been a full ride. But the best moment, Barry, the absolute best moment was when I was campaigning. I was at Butler, Pennsylvania, and that was the day President Trump got shot, sadly. But he and I both spoke with the mother of Mark Fogel.
Yeah.
And Mark Fogel was a Pennsylvanian from Butler County who was being held in a Russian prison. We both told his 95-year-old mother that, if I was elected and President Trump was elected, we'd do everything we could to get Mark Fogel home. And his mom came and visited Dina and me in Pittsburgh in our home.
Wow.
She sat on our couch and cried.
Wow.
She said, I don't think I'm going to ever hug my son again. So fast forward 22 days into the Trump administration, Mark Fogel is released. He comes home. Dina and I are there at the White House along with President Trump to meet him. I mean, there's been lots of good days since I've been here, but that's probably been the best day to see him reaffirm his love for America, his gratitude for the American people, and for President Trump for getting him home. It was a big deal.
Yep. Go ahead, Pac-Man.
Senator, good morning. I'm Pac-Man. That's Uncle Barry's nickname for me. I'm Steve Pacarduni, and I sit in with Barry here and try to be his color guy. First off, it's an honor to speak to you this morning, and we appreciate your time as always. I'm going to go back a little bit to your book here, and I'm reading an article out of Pittsburgh that there's been protests with you actually have a book about mentoring, and Senator Fetterman has wanted to be out there about this book because you've both been mentors to people, and there's actually this group, progressive group, Indivisible Pittsburgh, said that they're still going to protest the book or actually the meeting or the event, and you're not even attending this. So could you just pull back the curtain on what is going on with this with these fringe groups?
It's crazy. Well, I'd say first of all, and this is, I think it's a sad thing. I think America's better when there's two strong parties. I really do. I think that's in America's best interest. And what we're having now is the Democratic Party is lost its way, and they're embracing a radical, progressive, liberal agenda, or at least that part of their party's driving the train. So you have 80-20 issues where 80% of the American people agree, regardless of party, agree with something like closing the border, like stopping the flow of fentanyl, like biological males should not be competing in women's sports. Those 80-20 issues, they're taking the 20% side of this. And
I think
and
less.
You're seeing that.
I think less, Senator. Right. Less.
Yeah, you may be right. And so the one guy that's not doing that is Senator Fetterman.
Yep.
And he and I have gotten to know each other. We don't agree on. There's a lot of stuff we don't agree on, but there's a number of things we do agree on, and we've agreed. We've gotten to know each other. The four of us had dinner with our wives and got to know each other. And he and I have met a number of times. We agreed that on the things that we could find common ground on for Pennsylvania, we're going to work together. And I appreciate him, and that's going to be on anti-Semitism, which is a terrible scourge. He's been a strong voice. It's going to be on supporting Israel. It's going to be on getting manufacturing jobs back to Pennsylvania. On my fentanyl legislation, the lead co-sponsor was John Fetterman. He and I are working together. He's introduced a couple bills that I'm going to co-sponsor with him, and I appreciate it. And this was when at a time when we need bipartisanship on key issues, and who could disagree with the power of mentoring?
Yep.
You have people protesting, and I think that's because they've lost their way. And the best thing I could say about Senator Fetterman, as I said, we have many disagreements, but the best thing I could say about him, and I mean this, he's authentic. What you see is what you get, and we don't have enough of that in politics today. And I'd like to believe I'm authentic too, and we've forged a good partnership for Pennsylvania.
But Dave, let me ask you a question. I get all that, and so does the American public, and especially Pennsylvanians. I'm looking for more, and the reason why I say that to you is what actually can you agree with? And Fetterman seems to be an odd duck. I mean, for whatever it's worth, because most of the Democrats do not agree with whatever he's politically enhancing, and I don't exactly know what the circumstances are of what you've talked about. What actually is going on in Pennsylvania different? And what are we going to see? Are we going to see fracking again, like we talked about years
Yeah,
ago?
I'm
What
glad
are
you
we
asked.
going to
Yeah.
see, Dave? Tell us what
Well,
specific
here's what I
we're
think.
going to see in Pennsylvania.
Here's what I think. First of all, you asked me about my committees. I have three
Yes.
committees, three main committees that I requested. The number one committee is the Energy Committee, and I'm the chairman of the subcommittee on energy. I'm
Uh-huh.
on the Banking Committee, which deals with affordable housing and access to capital for small businesses. I'm on the Foreign Relations Committee, where I'm the chairman of the subcommittee on the Middle East, where we talk about Israel and counterterrorism. I think the area that offers the most opportunity for Pennsylvania that'll change their lives is energy. And I think the 2024 election sent a clear message. You know, the radical left environmentalists had taken us down a direction where you had these EPA mandates to get rid of combustion engines, where we were putting hundreds of billions of dollars into windmills and solar farms, and it was leading to inflation. And I think with Republicans in the majority at the federal level, we're going to have a very, very forward-leaning energy policy. And in Pennsylvania, I'm hopeful that what happened, I think part of the reason that Kamala Harris lost Pennsylvania, and I think part of the reason Bob Casey lost, was because they weren't authentically leaning into energy dominance, fracking, and so forth. And as you know, Barry, we've talked about this.
Yep.
Energy is key to our national security. It's key to our economic vitality in Pennsylvania, and it's key to the environment. The natural gas industry is the reason that we're having this huge decrease in carbon emissions across the United States. So what can you see? Here's what I'm working hard on, and I hope we'll be able to find bipartisan support. Because we're such an energy state, and because the huge area of investment and building is in these AI data centers, I'm hoping we're going to see Pennsylvania become the place where Microsoft and Meta and Google and all these places invest in these huge data centers. They create unbelievably great jobs for our trades, welders and pipe fitters and so forth. These are fantastic jobs. They create great ongoing jobs. They create enormous economic activity. And the states are all competing for them. The states that should be most attractive are those with clean energy, great energy, like natural gas. Pennsylvania, check. Where you've got great labor force, skilled labor to do it, we got that, check. And where you're close to the majority of the population, we're in, within 500 miles, 65% of the population,
Yes.
check.
Yep.
So this is an area where I think the Democrats and Republicans will hopefully be able to work together. I don't want to be too optimistic, but because I think some of the stuff that our state Democrats have embraced is not in line with this, but I think they see the opportunity and the jobs, and I think the politics have shifted.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing, and my cry has always been, and I've said this numerous times, is that I think the American people and the citizens of America get the short end of the stick. You see what Doge is doing right now. All of this money that they have found that has been misplaced, who knows where it's gone to, except in some people's pockets, as far as I'm concerned. We're not benefiting. And I hope in the state of Pennsylvania in the next 4 years, you're going to be able to help benefit the people on ground level, meaning roads, meaning
Yeah.
education, all the things that I watched you, and I followed you as closely as I could, where I could. I participated to see you and believe in you. And I hope that you're going to be able to accomplish what the state deserves and the people deserve, because we always seem to just get the short end of the stick, Dave. It just seems that way to me.
Yeah, listen, Pennsylvania is, the fifth largest economy in the country. We've got so much to offer. And I do think we've been punching below our weight. And I think there's a real opportunity with President Trump. President Trump puts an enormous value on Pennsylvania. We all recognize, I think Pennsylvania is key to the country's future, but it's also, an area where President Trump built a great coalition. I was part of that, where the trade unions, where the Hispanic population, where the African American population, the coalition, the working family coalition that President Trump built was just absolutely a once in a lifetime. Now we have to deliver on the promises. And I do think this is a real opportunity. The Doge thing is such an example. So here we have President Trump campaigning, saying we got to rein in the cost of government, the bureaucracy's out of control. If you remember, I gave a speech in Philadelphia where I said, hey, we got to move the cabinet departments out of Washington. Let's move Department of Energy to Pittsburgh. We need change. So here we have Elon Musk going in with this team, and what he's showing is that the bureaucracy is not only out of control, but it's taken on a life of its own, advancing things that are completely inconsistent with what the majority of Americans will want their taxpayer dollars on. You see the foreign aid budget where you got LGBTQ, operas in Costa Rica and stuff like that. It's madness. And so, but here's the good news. He's giving transparency to how this money's being spent. And that's giving, I think, the American people confidence that we need to cut back on the cost of government. We need to cut back on our spending. We got $34 trillion of debt. And listen, we're going to make some mistakes, Barry. It's when you make big, bold moves, you're going to make mistakes. So you got to have a process that corrects the mistakes. But we are on a path here to reining in the government. That'll be the first time that's happened in decades, and we really need to do it. And we need to protect key parts of our spending. We need to protect entitlements. President Trump said he'd do that, Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. But at the same time, we got to rip out the trillions or at least hundreds of billions of dollars of waste. And I think we're now on that journey.
Yes, listen, we're up against the break. Before I leave you go, two things. Number one, has anybody convinced you to be a National Baseball fan since you're in Washington, or are you staying steadfast?
I'm steadfast, man. I'm steadfast. But Barry, you can't get me off here without mentioning the most remarkable thing, which was last Saturday.
Yes.
The NCAA National Championships wrestling.
Yes.
I wrestled in college. The finals in Wells Fargo in Philadelphia.
Yep.
I brought President Trump as my guest. The place went bananas.
Yep.
I mean, it was crazy. And you had one of the biggest upsets. Penn State won the national title, and you had one of the biggest upsets in history where the heavyweight, who was an Air Force Academy grad, beat the Olympic gold medalist and stood up and gave a salute. I mean, this was storybook. President Trump was sitting next to me. He was supposed to be there for an hour, and he said, I said, Mr. President, it's time for you to go. And he goes, I'm staying for the whole thing. So he sat there for 2.5 hours. And it was a hell of a day for Pennsylvania. That's
Dave, I'm up against the break. Promise me you'll come back. We didn't even scratch the surface. I could talk to you for a month and a half. I have so many things between Pac-Man and I. I want to thank you for your time. You have been listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Our special guest, Senator Dave McCormick. What a treat. We will see you on the other side.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice for more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Great weather greeted more than 10,000 runners at this year's Love Run Half Marathon through Fairmount Park. Hundreds of Elon Musk protesters and counter-protesters turned out at the Cherry Hill Tesla dealership, and the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society is looking for volunteers to help plant 900 trees in the Philly region.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code RADIO. Swishradio.com, code RADIO.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
We get it. Attention spans just aren't what they used to be. Heads in social media and eyes on Netflix. But what do people do with their ears? Well, for one, they're listening to audio. Americans spend 4.4 hours with audio every day. Oh, and you want the proof? Well, you just sat through this ad that's now approaching 30 seconds. What could you say to a potential customer in 30 seconds? Let Odyssey put together a media plan tailor-made for your unique marketing needs. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
We are back. Some music this morning, Pac-Man, huh?
I love the baseball.
There you go. Yes, indeed, we are back, as I say. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. I want to thank my special friend, Senator Dave McCormick. Before we go on and I ask you a question, what are your thoughts on McCormick and what he said? I know we only had 15 minutes, and believe me, I was prepared for him for the next 3 hours. He's a busy guy. He's got a lot of things going on. What were your thoughts and your takeaways quickly?
First off, what a quality guy.
Yep.
What a quality guy. You know, I do the back end research, so we have everything here. In his own words, he put down duty, honor, and country. And
Yes.
here is guy, West Point graduate. He was a combat veteran in Desert Storm, and now he's serving the residents of Pennsylvania in the U.S. Senate. I mean, this is a quality individual, and that's we need more of Dave McCormick's in our government because you could truly see he cares about what's going on.
I agree.
And he did an excellent job of campaigning. I am a student of campaigns, and he did a great job with that, and he went right to the people, and he's doing the right thing. And I wish I had a little bit more time to talk to him about it, but he's making government work. Yes, Senator Fetterman is a Democrat, but it's not us against them when they get elected. They have to represent the constituents of their state the best that they possibly can, and I appreciate what he's doing.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll have a little more time. We'll get a chance to talk to him again. I really want to know what the heck is going on in the state of Pennsylvania for us. That's number one. Number two, before our next guest, Colonel Rob Magnus is calling in. I had him on the show a few weeks ago. I called him. I want to get some comments on this secret thing that leaked out. But before we do that, Mike Tyson said, everybody's a gangster until they get punched in the mouth. Are the Democrats getting punched in the mouth, Steve?
Yes, they are finally getting hit back hard with President Trump. He doesn't take any nonsense or crap from them.
No.
He hits them right back as they should. And actually, it's funny to see some of the biggest Democrats on radio and podcasts and TV actually questioning what the Democrat Party stands for. Senator McCormick touched on it. They have no idea what they stand for anymore. You can't have a platform of "We hate Trump" when the success of President Trump is apparent every day.
That's all they have.
That's all they have. We hate Trump, and it's amazing too. And just as we're residents of New Jersey, the Democrat governor candidate her platform is running against President Trump. Well, that doesn't help the residents of New Jersey.
No,
It's
of
insane. So they are in bad shape, and as they should be, because it's a disgrace what they've done for the last 8 years, attacking President Trump instead of actually doing the right thing for American citizens.
And I have to tell you, I even hate. We only are on for an hour. I hate to waste my time talking about Democrats because, frankly, just tell me what you want to see done differently so we could at least negotiate and talk about it. All I hear is I hate Trump and he's a racist and he's racial and he's Hitler and this. I'm done with all that. They lost that. My question to you is, I'm an American, first and foremost. Kurt Schilling said that on Fox News the other day. I don't see that from the people on the left. And if they are, show me how you are putting this America first and putting the American people first. I don't see it, Steve.
I don't see it either. It's funny. The very few liberals that still engage with me on social media, and actually they're looking forward to President Trump failing. I have one guy that just posts one thing, like something went wrong. One little tiny thing went wrong on one day, and it's the end of the world.
Yeah, of course.
And they're actually rooting. They can't. I said, how can you? Hostages being released. And another one, a woman from the Taliban yesterday was released and praised President Trump for her safety and released back to our country. And they can't applaud that. They can't say, okay, he's doing a good job. And it's sad. We're all in the same boat here. We may have different differences in opinion, just like Senator McCormick said, but we have to do what's right for this country. Open borders is not right for this country. Energy independence is right for this country. And in Pennsylvania, when President Biden was there and eliminated fracking, and it just hurt Pennsylvania residents so much,
Of course.
and made gasoline was almost $7 a gallon. It's insane.
Listen, Pac-Man, we're almost up against the break, but we're not going to take a break. I have our next guest online. He was in studio with me, as you know, a few weeks ago, Colonel Rob Maness. He is an interesting fella. He has his own podcast. Colonel, good morning. Did we wake you up?
Hey, Barry, good morning. No, you didn't wake me up.
I know you guys are up like 3:30, quarter of 4. You're probably running around doing like 4 miles and hitting the gym. But I want you to know it's always an honor. We had you in studio a few weeks ago. You and I spent some time together. You're an interesting fellow. I right out of the chute, we're almost against the break, which we're going to take in a few minutes, but I wanted to get you in. Why don't you give us a rundown in your mind of what happened with this secretive quotes? What do you want to call it, Steve? Where
the signal text messages.
That's right, the signal text. Can you give us your impression of what happened there?
Well, the real issue is the one that's least talked about, and the real issue is that this reporter from the Atlantic, Goldberg, the editor-in-chief, by the way, was added to that chat. And everybody has to remember, Signal is an encrypted, end-to-end encrypted platform. Yes, there are ways for intelligence adversaries to get into the system. And the way Goldberg was added is exactly how they do it. They spoof an account and use that number to try to get into some of these. So that's the real issue. And the Trump national security team, the inner circle there, led by Mike Waltz, has really got to get a handle on this.
Yeah.
They have got to clean this out and get down to the ground truth. I suspect we still don't know the ground truth of who what account or what phone exactly added Goldberg to that chat. But that's the real issue that's got to be taken care of. Everything else, the upper surface part of this is an operation from what some people call the deep state. It's the unelected bureaucracies led by the defense establishment, the intelligence establishment, that want to maintain their power. They are adamantly opposed to President Trump's policies when it comes to national security. They don't want peace in Ukraine. They don't want America turning towards China and focusing our resources on them.
Tell
so we
us
can be
why.
strong enough to deter them.
Tell us
Tell
why,
us
though.
Tell you why?
Yeah, why don't they want peace in Ukraine? Who's benefiting from this?
Did you notice that when we finally left Afghanistan in shame and the debacle that happened and got 13 young Americans killed needlessly by President Biden and that team, that they immediately shifted to Ukraine?
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
It's about power, and the root of that power is money and a consistent stream and source of funding for money. And look, I served in the military for 30 plus years. I'm part of that establishment, but I'm adamantly opposed, as many of my colleagues and former colleagues are adamantly opposed to this endless war policy that began under the George W. Bush administration and tries to continue to this day. But that is what is happening here. And that's the overlaying issue with that is I believe this is an operation intended to get at Waltz and Hegseth. And it's part of an overall operation that they're trying to split the president's cabinet up. I don't know if you saw the attacks on J.D. Vance.
I did.
From his trip to Greenland with his wife Usha over the last 48 hours. That's a continuous process. And trust me. No, don't trust me. Look at the USAID
I trust
reporting. Look at the USAID reporting, which is gone now, but the reporting on that proved that our tax dollars were going to do things like conduct revolutions against governments. Do you think that the protests in Greenland were organic? No, they're generated by the unelected bureaucracy's continued access to funding to turn people against President Trump's policies. And it's always been about being opposed to his policies. The same thing happened in 2016. Look, this Goldberg guy, what did he do? The Russia hoax.
Yep. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, Colonel.
Lies.
Unfortunately, we're up against a break. McCormick and I ran a little longer. We will let's take a break, and we will see you on the other side. 1210 WPHT. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with Colonel Rob Maness. He's the man.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Phillies baseball, Pac-Man.
Gotta love it.
There you go.
Me up to the ball game.
This guy Kirk, man, he pulled a fast one on me, huh?
Yeah, I think he's psyched for the season home opener on Monday.
There you go. Listen, you are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Online with us, only Colonel Manis. He knows what's happening. Colonel, Steve has a question right out of the chute. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Colonel, how are you this morning? I appreciate your time, and it's always great talking to you. So I got something real quick for you right out of here. So, the mainstream media is making a big thing about, the Signal app and, the text message and all this other stuff here. But no one's talking about the success of the mission. And, from your military point of view, how did that mission go?
Very successful from my perspective. And, that mission's not over until the Houthis stop attacking completely international waterway traffic going through the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden there. And we haven't seen a lot from them lately, have we? That's because we killed a lot of their leadership and we destroyed their supplies. There are somewhere between 5 and 8 B-2 bombers sitting on an island in the Indian Ocean that are sending a very strong message to who? The people that make it all happen for the Houthis attacks on international shipping, and that is the Iranians.
Well,
the Iranians they need to be addressed in this issue. They use a couple of intelligence platforms and command and control platform ships off the coast there that we have never taken out. And those should be taken out because they're the ones that are providing the targeting and the command and control systems for the Houthis to be as successful as they have been.
Colonel, that's the head of the snake. Let's talk about they're supposedly developing a nuclear bomb. What are your thoughts on that? How do you handle that? And should that be handled?
Look, I'm gonna step out here and tell you, based on my experience from what I'm seeing, I think they've probably got somewhere between 3 and 8 nuclear warheads already built. They've had help from the North Koreans. We know that. North Korean shipping traffic's been allowed to go in and out of there consistently under the Biden administration, where it was all but stopped under the first Trump administration. So that is an issue. I think that's why you're starting to see some open source reporting about the Israeli IDF Air Forces preparing to attack the nuclear targets inside Iran. Does anybody want to go to war with Iran? No, absolutely not. We don't need another endless war. As a matter of fact, this president has sworn, as part of his number one mission is to bring peace and stop the killing in places like Ukraine and the Middle East and anywhere else around the world. We don't want to be the advocates of continuous war.
So let me ask
the United States has never been intended to do that.
Of course not. Let me ask you a question. Years ago, during the Bush administration, we were given information that Iraq had all kind of nuclear situations going on, and it didn't end up to be the case. In your mind, is that similar here, or do you think this is a different story?
No, it's completely different. Outside agencies were not allowed to go into Iraq. That's part of what Saddam Hussein's huge mistake was preventing the International Atomic Energy Commission from coming in and inspecting those sites and getting access to everything. They have been in Iran, and we do know what their systems are. We do know what activities they're conducting as far as enriching uranium and those kind of things. But what I'm telling you is that the estimates that are being made public are intentionally what we would call dumbed down and not telling the truth. And I only speak from a little bit of experience. We've seen that before any country, including the United States, openly said the North Koreans had nuclear weapons. They already had somewhere between 7 and 8. And all that time leading up to that, our folks were saying, and the Western intelligence folks were saying, that they didn't have enough materials yet made to do that. So that's a trend that I see, and that's one of the pieces of experience that I fall back on to say that based on what I've seen over the last 10 years, I believe that they've got somewhere between 3 and 8 nuclear warheads and we know they have the systems capable of delivering them because they bought Russian old Soviet
So
medium range.
if you were still in active duty and sitting in a panel with the President of the United States, the Vice President, and all the other necessary people, what would your suggestion be how to handle this? I mean, what is the action to be taken by the United States? Is it rhetoric? Is it talk? Or is it something they're going to do? And what are they going to do?
Well, and I haven't seen this for sure yet, but I believe this is the path they're on, is that the immediate reestablishment of what was the maximum pressure campaign under the first Trump administration. I haven't actually seen the activity, so I can't say for sure it's happening, but that's what I would be recommending and would have recommended before he even took office, that on day one they reactivate that, because that kept the Iranians from having the funds available to do things like fund the Hamas people and their weaponry for the October 7th attack on Israel, fund the Hezbollah people and all their missiles that they shoot into Israel, creating havoc and killing civilians, and whether they're Israeli or civilians or not. We saw they killed Druze kids on a soccer field not that long ago. The Iranians do that because when they have the funding, and that's the very first step and crucial step, and may be the only thing that needs to happen. But we need to be prepared to actually take action to prevent those command and control and targeting intelligence ships out there in the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea from helping the Houthis, and if necessary, take those out.
Colonel, I'm going to take you back just a little bit here from what you're saying there, because this doesn't seem to happen overnight. One could question Obama's commitment to protecting America and its military, but it seems that Biden was deliberately not providing for our protection. Tell our listeners, over the last administration, how bad was it? How unsafe has a weak Biden administration actually made our country? And can President Trump get us, protected in this short amount of time?
Well, let's think about this. Let's just talk about 3 areas. First, the Iranians, they went right back into the JCPOA, the original Obama-Iran agreement on their nuclear forces and their nuclear capability, and that's what's allowed them, I believe, to now have 3 to 7 or 8 nuclear warheads capable of being used in an attack. So he took the Obama process and opened it up, and it was on steroids. I mean, billions of dollars in cash given to the Iranians and those kind of things. So, and then the second piece is, this thing in Afghanistan, not just the debacle of the withdrawal, but that we continue to pay millions and millions and millions of dollars to the Taliban every month. U.S. tax dollars are going to the Taliban. Somebody in the Trump administration just convinced some leadership level to remove the Haqqani guy, the main actor in the Haqqani network, which is providing resources to the Taliban in their fight against the United States in that war, to be taken off of our bounty list as an international terrorist and a bounty on their head. So we continue to see those kind of things. And then the third piece is in Qatar, allowing groups like the leaders of Hamas, which are very wealthy, to live in Qatar, while at the same time telling Israel that they can't adequately respond to destroy Hamas in places like Gaza, for instance, when they ought to be demanding Hamas unconditional surrender, just like we did the Nazis and the Japanese in World War II.
I agree.
That's the level of threat that is.
I agree.
That's the level of threat that is, and it needs to be done. So that's just 3 different places. So do you think we're safer today than we were on the last day of Mr. Trump's first administration, or not? I would posture to say, based on everything that I just talked about, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, we're absolutely not safe.
Colonel, we only have like another 10 minutes to go. We're up against the break. Can I impose on you to hang in there with us? I have so many questions they ask you, to be honest with you. Please let your wife give you permission, please.
Sure.
There you go. You like that, huh? You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. I got you, Colonel. You didn't expect that one. We will see you on the other side of the break.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text MIND to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text MIND to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text MIND to 200-300. That's MIND to 200-300. MIND to 200-300.
This is Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you're never injured in a slip and fall accident, we mean it. But if you should suffer a slip and fall injury, we'll work quickly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And we mean it when we say there are never any upfront fees, ever, and we only get paid when your case is over and you get paid. Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
I don't think we're going to have time for Tom from Chester. Kirk, I don't think we're going to have time. We got a guest. It's just not cool. What do you think? What do you want to do with that?
The Colonel's got so much to tell us, and Tom, we appreciate you calling, and maybe we can get you in next week.
Yeah, I can't get him. Can he call in next week, Kirk? Kirk, can he call in next week? Because we got a guest on. We're only on for a few minutes more. We're not going to make it. Huh?
I'll let him know.
Yeah, Tom, I'm so sorry. You know, I just have a guest on. We got 5 minutes left. We're running behind schedule. How much time do we have? Can't hear you. What do you mean 8 minutes left? Now, when are we on?
You're on right now, Barry.
We're on live now? Oh, my Lord. I didn't know we were on live. Colonel Magnus, I hope you're still there. I didn't know we were on live. My God. Go ahead, Colonel. Where were we, Pac-Man? Here's what my question. We mentioned Afghanistan, and nobody talks about that anymore. What really troubled me was we spent so much time in that country and left that country in a state of shambles, especially for women. Women finally progressed in that country where they were able to get an education. They didn't have to wear a face mask. Things were finally coming through for, quotes, a democracy in that country, and we left that country in a state second to none. Any thoughts on what's happening there today?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and we still have Americans that are being held prisoner there, dual citizen Americans. And we also left a lot of folks that work for our armed forces as interpreters and those kind of things.
Is Trump doing anything about this, Colonel? Do you know anything about it, and why not?
I'm not sure if it's on his radar or not, to be honest with you. He has got Hegseth looking at things. But to be honest, there were a lot of American generals that some of them have been promoted twice since the debacle of the withdrawal, and nobody's been held accountable for that. The one guy that has been held accountable, though, is on the staff in the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness' office in a senior position. Former Marine Lieutenant Colonel Stu Scheller. So that's a good sign. I think that is a sign that the Trump administration is looking at this, and they are going to take the appropriate action when they're ready to do that. You got to remember, there are over 4,000 positions he's got to get appointed, and I don't think we're even halfway through that right now. So he doesn't have his full team on there, but they do have the senior folks that have been appointed, and a lot have been confirmed, but we still have some very key positions that need to be filled so far, and that will, as that happens, more and more of what we're going to see is taking shape.
Yeah, how would you feel if you were stranded in Afghanistan now and your country isn't even looking into anything of your health, your safety? Listen, you were in studio with me. You're a Rambo type of guy. Have any interest in that? Because I'm willing to go with you.
As as an Afghanistan war veteran myself, I applaud and have encouraged and advocated for those men and women that have put their own teams together, like Scott Mann and Corey Mills, and folks like that have actually gotten, and my friend Drew Berquist, who is a counterterrorism guy that went in to help get people out, and they were successful in getting some good people out, like they're interpreters and those kind of things. If you're listening in Afghanistan, you have not really been left behind. Your brothers and sisters that you fought with are working diligently to get you out, and we would support any a team that's going to go back in there and take the government back on behalf of the people of Afghanistan from those religious thugs called the Taliban. Absolutely would support that.
Colonel, well, yesterday a woman was released by the Taliban, and she's praising President Trump for her release and her safety back to the States. So it's good stuff. I don't think the president is forgotten about anyone, especially any of our military members. So, but he's just there, and recently, and he's got a lot done in those days. So. One thing I just wanted to talk to you about, too. So, we go back and forth between the Democrats and the media. And in my opinion, the Democrats and the media are putting our country at risk with their negative rhetoric against the president. How do you think this relates also to our military members who seem so enthusiastic every time that, he shows up someplace and his support for the military? It's almost like the Democrats and the media, frown upon it. So I would like your opinions on that.
Well, the Democrats and the media are working together, and they're working together with that government group that I was talking about that people call the deep state, the defense and intelligence establishments that are working diligently to fight against this. I mean, we only talked about Hegseth and Waltz, but in recent days, RFK Jr. was an attack was released against him yesterday about some crazy sex tape again, and that's not the first time that's happened, but there is a total push to go after the cabinet members, and that's how they're trying to get at Mr. Trump, because, everything they tried against Trump hasn't worked. As a matter of fact, it's only made him stronger. Obviously, he got reelected. Now he's got an administration that he's appointing that think just like he does, instead of going with the establishment recommendations from last time. He's gone mostly with folks that he knows and trusts will implement his policies. So that's how they're trying to get to him. And we've just got to, folks on our side should stop giving air to a lot of this stuff on social media and those kind of things, and just simply push back and say, no, Hegseth's not resigning. RFK Jr. is not resigning. We're moving forward. You can report on it all you want. We're just laughing at you because you're destroying your own credibility and then moving forward, because we can't give them one scalp. Not one. I don't care what the situation is. We can't give them one scalp, because as they continue to do this, they're also fighting in the courts. And, we've had Republican senators like my senator here, Roger Wicker, who is the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, recommend investigations on Hegseth and about the signal chat thing. That is the absolute wrong approach. There is no reason to do that. The chat was set up by the National Security Council and the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz himself. He admitted that. So it's not even a Secretary of Defense issue. And that investigation leads where? It leads to criminal charges in the courts on Donald Trump and his cabinet to try to disrupt this administration. And it's just part of this operation that's being conducted against them right now. And we've got to push back on that. And certainly we need to eliminate the power of any Republican that is trying to do things like start investigations that lead to criminal charges against President Trump or anybody in his cabinet.
We have a few minutes left. Tell me what your thoughts are on these woke judges' decisions. I mean, we take 2 steps forward, and then the next thing you know, we're in court over nonsense, especially with these gang members. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the story is important that people are tracking on that story, like this Judge Boasberg that tried to turn around airplanes carrying terrorists that are from Trinidad, which have been declared a foreign terrorist organization by this president, appropriately so and legally so. And some judge at the district court level, a federal judge, decides he's going to step in and act like he's the commander-in-chief and president of the United States and prevent the current president, who's been elected by an overwhelming majority of the people and the Electoral College, from defending this country and protecting us. But here's the real issue. That's the story. But the real issue is that Congress, your Congress and mine, controlled by our Republicans, is the sole authority over those courts. They don't have authority over the Supreme Court, but they have authority over those courts under the Constitution of the United States. Those courts are created and can be ended by the United States Congress, and Congress is not acting. The same thing that keeps happening over and over again is we have too many non-America First Republican politicians in those seats, and we've got to get them to move to take action against these judges and these courts, because they can eliminate their jurisdiction. They can hold them accountable by conducting hearings on these specific judges and punishing them through legislation, and they're not doing it because they lack the spine. We need them to grow a spine or kick them out. That's why we have elections every 2 years and a half.
Colonel Rob Maness, my friend, we are out of time. I want to thank you so much for your insightfulness. Hopefully, we'll get you back again soon. Steve Pac-Man, 5 seconds for you. 5 seconds.
You're the best, Uncle Barry, and I was ready for you this week.
Yes, you were. A beautiful face will age, and a perfect body will change, but a beautiful soul will always be a beautiful soul. To Steve Pac-Man, Senator, we thank you, Dave McCormick and Colonel Rob Maness. Delaware Valley, on your busy Sunday, grateful to you for joining us on this Sunday morning. You have been listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. We will see you this Saturday night, 8 to 9. Please don't forget us. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Have a great week, a healthy week, a safe week. I'm hurrying, and we will see you next weekend. Thanks for always being there. I appreciate you.
We did it.
I never had a doubt.
Thank you for supporting WPHT's 8th annual Radiothon.
God bless the only army, the 1210 WPHT audience. God bless